What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to break down this Super Bowl graphic of Akeem Davis Gaither. It's got 3D text, it's got tigers, it's got vines hanging everywhere. Let's get into it. So to start out with, we've got Akeem Davis Gaither. I have a cutout of him, I have a cutout of this tiger that I just put in, and then I have a cutout of SoFi Stadium. I also have the logo in there. So I think these three cutouts are the three that I used for sure in the end, and obviously put a camera raw filter on each of them. Usually for camera raw filters, I will bump up the shadows, maybe bump down the highlights a little bit, and then turn the texture pretty far up and the clarity up a little bit. Don't want to make it look too fake because I just hate that look most of the time. Sometimes it can look good when you bump the texture and clarity, higher, but most of the time it's going to make it look bad. So I masked his legs. I masked his lower legs away in the water to kind of look like they're going under, then they're slowly fading away. I changed the layer style of them to make them look like they're in the water. And then also I put in 2 pictures of some splashes, and then I changed the brightness and darkness of that a little bit and changed the layer style of that as well. And you just kind of do what works that makes it blend in with the water well and kind of like shows the water over his legs and like the splash over his legs and in the water, if that makes sense. And then to kind of blend it all together, I used a hue saturation layer to make all the water blue that's right there. And then I did another ripple photo with a mask kind of fading outward to make it look more realistic. Like if he was standing there would be ripples going out in the water. And then again, you just mess around with the layer style. So when I'm trying to blend things in, I usually mess around with the layer style, the opacity, and then I'll double click on it sometimes and try and remove some of the highlights or shadows in the image and see if that blends it. So it's really just trying a lot of different things to blend it well. That was another just water splash droplet cutout that I put in. And then I put some color balances and different things as well as curves over top of all these to kind of match the brightness and darkness of each of the cutouts, as well as the color of like the oranges and the skin tones and that sort of things, because you want it all to blend together. And the SoFi Stadium picture looked like it was during sunset, so then I found a picture of a really orange sky, which also fit in with the whole Bengals orange vibe look as well. I thought it would look better if the graphic didn't totally cover the canvas, and so I decided, because I had been doing some other App State graphics that had like a little circle of like color and pop, that I would do that here, but later I decided I didn't want to stay on that trend of doing like a circle in the middle. So I decided to make it a Super Bowl trophy outline. So on Akeem Davis Gaither right here, I am putting inner shadows on him, but as you can see, they're yellow and they're set to color dodge. So they kind of look like highlights around his body and on the bigger cutout up top, as well as the tiger in the photo. And you kind of have to mess around with the opacity and the size and the distance to try and figure out like what looks good and what looks right. Then I put a shadow with just a black brush behind Akeem and then on the tiger, and I set that, I think, to maybe overlay or something, maybe linear dodge add, one of those two, or not linear dodge add. I can't remember. I think I set it to overlay or linear burn. And that usually looks pretty good. And then if you turn down the opacity a little bit, it can look even better. And then I did another inner shadow on the top of the building. So basically everything has like an orangey yellowy highlight on it. And then that made it all kind of blend together and pop and kind of like, you know, separate each thing from the other. So right here what I'm doing is getting the circle layer mask that I have on the whole group and then control clicking each of the cutouts that are going outside of it and painting those back into the layer mask so you can see them. So I didn't show you how I made the 3D text because I have another video where I show you how to make 3D text right up here. So I'll skip that, and I decided to put 3D text in there because I just thought it would look way cooler, and I had some ideas for what I wanted to do with the tiger stripes. So I obviously had to make it black and orange. I found a tiger PNG thing online, put that over top of the orange text, and then put an overlay, a gradient overlay on top of that to make it go from like a more yellowy orange to a burnt orange. Then I gave the text, I think, an outer glow and an inner glow of some like linear dodge add orange, just to make it pop and pop off the background a little more. Here are the vines that I used, and I thought it would look really cool because, you know, tigers are in the jungle, and just gave the whole graphic a more like unique jungle tiger look. And so I found these PNGs of vines, dropped them in, gave them drop shadows, and then just cut around them to make it look like they were weaving through the 3D letters. And in some places it looks better than others. I think up there by the K, I didn't love how that looked, and I put some shading in that as well as the orange glow you just saw me put on there. Or it's an inner shadow, but it kind of makes it look like the letters are kind of like shining a little bit of orange light on them. And then obviously I have to put a drop shadow on the vines to make it look like they're in front of the 3D text. So here I'm obviously just using layer masks to paint away and then paint on the vines where I think they need to be. So I'm trying to make it look cool with them like coming out of the letters and kind of wrapping around them and stuff. And then I have one more that's just draping over the top of the M, as well as dropping down and going to the R because that didn't have anything connected to it. So there I'm adding some shading and lighting to kind of try and make the vines look more realistic. I'm giving the spots that might seem closer or like more visible some light, and then just some spots that are behind anything or farther away, I'm making those a little bit darker to make it look more realistic. And in some places it worked, in some places it didn't, but you know, you can only do so much. So here I'm trying to figure out where to put the logos, and then I didn't feel like his name was quite clear enough, so I thought I'd put it in there one more time just to make it obvious who it is. And I think the logo lockup with the Super Bowl and the App State Yosef head looks really clean. I like doing the logo lockups. I put this splash in there to be tiger spit, and so I made that basically white, and then shrank it down and put it next to his mouth, and you can barely even tell what it is when it's that close, but when you put it there it looks like spit. So I think that turned out really well. I like how that looks, and I like doing those little detailed things. So here I try a few different ways to put the Super Bowl logo in the background, or the Super Bowl trophy in the background, as like a cutout, I guess, or to like put this whole thing inside of the Super Bowl logo, if that makes sense. But I just couldn't get it to look right, so I had to make my own Super Bowl logo, because obviously I knew it wasn't gonna be the legit logo or trophy, so I could just make it look however I wanted and then use it as a cutout. So I found this picture of a football and then just warped a square and used that as the mask. So then all I had to do was center it and try and paint it to where it looked more symmetrical and that sort of thing. And I ended up changing the 3D text later to not be so lopsided. I kind of liked how it looked in the beginning, and I kind of had like a more of a text wrapping around the whole graphic thought process, but that didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. So I ended up making it more symmetrical and just centering it more. So yeah, then I put our logo and the Super Bowl logo up top and refine some things with the vines. If you like how this turned out and you want to learn more about sports graphics, check this playlist out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.